We're also working on flooring. We've gone through a half a dozen options. I think we're going to go ahead and go with the laminate vinyl flooring. We watched a ton of YouTube videos last night, including RV with Tito. He did it. It's held up well. Some people get issues with buckling because of like the contraction and expansion with hot and cold weather. But I think if you leave a little bit of space on the outside, put a little silicone, cover it up with the flooring, that gives it enough room to move as needed or to contract and expand. And I hope we won't end up with those issues. If we do, we'll just replace it. You know, I don't know. I don't really want to have to replace it in a year or two, but I think we're going to give it a go based on some of the reviews we've seen. So that's what we've got going on this weekend. So I did a thing.
Uh-oh, now you're making me worried.
Well, your first hint is literally at your feet.
You ripped the floor out.
Part of it.
I assume there was a good reason for taking it out, besides the fact that we were going to replace it anyways? Or you just wanted to demo something else?
I was just having fun tearing stuff out.
Sounds like my husband.
We need 3 of them, cut at 34 and a quarter.
So it's actually semi-square there. Well, wait, so we're not worried about staggering there. We're just going to put them down, stagger once we get out more visible.
Because nobody's going to see that, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But we just need it up against there to get our spacing right so it don't look stupid over there.
All right, we got the new flooring going in. It's not very hard to put in. You really just have to make sure to lift up the one panel so you can slide it in, make sure it's nice and flush, then lower the panel. The hardest part is getting front to back and left to right. Sometimes that can be a little bit problematic to get them to hook in. But right now we're just working on these odd pieces that go around the furnace registers. But we're gonna try and get the first half of the camper done with some of these odd pieces this evening. And then that way it'll make tomorrow a lot easier to finish up the flooring. I am exhausted and so over this project. I got up at 5 this morning to work on editing the video so I can get all that done. It's now about 7:30. I'm back in the RV, but I've got to get all of the flooring done today. If we have any hope of getting this project wrapped up and back on the road by next weekend, I've got to get the floor done today. After that, we can finish doing the framing for the counter, get the cabinet back on, the sink in, stuff moved back in the RV. So it's going to be a long day, but I got to get the flooring done. So first order of business, I've got the toilet out of the bathroom. I've got to finish getting the flooring up in the bathroom. I've got to get everything else cleared out of the RV and make sure we've got room to lay the flooring down today. All right, we got the RV cleared and time to start putting in the floor. If you have not used these laminate planks before, they're tongue and groove. So there's one on this side, there's one on the front and back. Both of those snap into the other panel. It's not incredibly difficult, but at the same time, you have to be very careful to get it to slide in very smoothly before you move on to the next plank. But it heavily impacts the way I've got to put in this flooring because since I've got to snap front and back and left and right, I think we found out yesterday evening it's a little bit easier to complete the entire vertical segment, then move on to the next row. Otherwise, you're in this constant state of trying to lift these up to get them to snap in. So you line up the tongue side the same way. You take the next one and slide it in behind, and you have to angle it up kind of like this in order to get it to line up cleanly. And then once you've got it cleanly, then you just lower it. It should go flat and the seam should stay together. All right, so we finished up the flooring back here yesterday evening. But what we found, we need to complete the whole length into the bathroom. And these areas are what takes the most time, because I've got to cut this piece to fill into that gap. Then right back over here, I'm gonna have to do an extra little cut back there. Then as we get into the bathroom, I've got to do a ton of cuts just to like get around this cabinet, back in there. The bathroom is probably gonna be one of the more time-consuming pieces. As soon as we get around this furnace register here and get into the main part of the floor, all of this is going to go super quick. It's just these finer cuts around curves that take a little bit longer. Always measure twice and cut once. Look at this. I was measuring this section and I needed just over 1 inch, but I cut out the wrong side. I was supposed to cut that part out. So there's a wasted piece and wasted time. All right, all of that for one piece. It took forever to cut all this around the fridge and into the bathroom. I definitely messed up a little bit there, but we can cover that with molding. But that was a lot of effort for one. Okay, we've got a good chunk of the bathroom in. We'll have to put molding around to fully cover it up. We got one more piece, but this row has both registers. So getting ready to do this now. Making progress. I bet there's nothing you'd rather be doing on a hot Saturday morning.
Not a thing I can think of.
Yeah, that cut was not fun.
That cut is awful.
I would expect nothing less from you. All right, you might almost think we knew what we were doing.
It's lovely.
Floor's in. All we got to do is put a little bead of silicone all along the outside, put some 1/4 round trim, get the wall panels up in the back. But time to go inside where it's a little bit cooler. It's all finally coming together. After, I think, 3 or 4 weekends straight of working on this, plus the evenings when I got off work, the flooring is finally in, the painting's coming together. I can finally see a light at the end of the tunnel. I still don't think we're gonna get done. We were originally supposed to have left this weekend. Then we pushed it back to next weekend. I don't know if we're gonna be able to leave next weekend for sure or not, because we still have this entire countertop to put in, cabinetry to frame, new sink to put in. So we still have a lot to get done, but at least the main part of the RV, the painting, the flooring, some of the trim, it's all starting to come together. So we made a ton of progress today, super excited. All I'm gonna do now is put some silicone around all of the edges of the flooring just to help secure it a little bit, but also to give a little bit of give. So I'm gonna do that now, clean up, call it a night. And then Lauren and I will start working on the trim tomorrow. We're not going to show you all of that right now. You're going to have to wait until the final RV tour video, but we will show you the rest of the cabinetry, sink, countertops a little bit of that footage. So, but we are so excited to show you the finished RV tour. Cannot wait to get it all done. This place is going to look fantastic.